Whoever came up with the 5 a.m. myth, croak. You are clearly not an artiste, because my greatest thoughts, speeches, whatever, happen at 3 a.m. And it's now 3 a.m. I can't believe I just yapped for probably an hour and nothing was recording. But I also can't believe it because I was everywhere in that take. So, hi Lovies, welcome back to another video. My name is Hannah Rome, and today I'm talking about friendships and how to tell whether or not an individual truly likes you. Because believe it or not, individuals will befriend you when they hate you and they dislike you because they A, want to be you, or B, want to see what you can do for them and manipulate you. So I'm going to break down how to tell if an individual doesn't have your best interests at heart and if an individual isn't your true friend, and use some of my real life experiences because I've had so many. Oh, I just hallucinated. I've had so many, and I feel I'm just now coming out of a 23-year cycle of befriending people and making excuses for people that don't have my best interests at heart, and I wish I did it sooner, but I don't control time, and I'd rather learn now than later. So, let's begin. My whole life, as I said, I have befriended people who don't have my best interest because for a majority of my life, not anymore, I was so desperate and wanting to be loved and accepted by people, I didn't care how they treated me, and that's just so sad, because, man, people really took advantage of me and beat me down, especially in high school. And I like to preference, I went to both public and private, and so the bullying on an astronomical level is different in between those two worlds. But it doesn't matter, because this can apply to both. When I went to public school, I had a friend who was constantly in competition with me, was constantly belittling me, but at the same time trying to be me, trying to wear what I wore, would belittle the car I drove, and then ended up buying the same car, just a different model. And I'll never forget her being in the car. I told her I scored higher on TPAC. I don't know if that's still around, but it's like a state exam. And I scored higher than she did on the science portion of TPAC, and she looked me down in the eyes and said, well, my grades are higher than yours in other regards, and I'm the reason this school has a blue ribbon. Okay, you're not my friend, you don't like me, you hate me. And then going to private school, it was so different. The bullying was so different. My whole life, though, in both schools, both realms, I have had children and adults always comment on my weight. Always tell me I looked sickly, I was too skinny, they would do this, they would tell me I need to eat more meat, I need to eat more. They would steal my food and say things like, oh, but you don't need the calories. Oh, you're not going to finish it anyways. Oh, you don't even eat that much. Okay. 1000% developed anorexia because I felt like I had no control in my home nor school life, and so I began starving myself because I didn't want people to steal my food. And I would, at times, eat my meals throughout the day in classrooms, but then I'd get in trouble with the teachers because you're not supposed to be eating. And I'm not going to tell them, well, my friend is stealing my food at lunch and telling me this, because I was too scared. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be loved. And these same girls were telling me to shut up because I was so annoying when boys would come over. They would create group chats with our guy friends that I was not included in and belittle me and make fun of me and send pictures of me. Thank you and good night. And the bullying got so bad, I left private school come my junior year because I was so depressed and my self-confidence was so little. And I'll never forget, I figured out real freaking quick how they were just using me for the car I drove, or they were using me to go on a nice vacation. Like, I once went on a nice vacation with these 3 girls, and within 20 minutes of being in our hotel room, one girl says, "Oh, since blah 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 is no longer in our friend group, so and so's the prettiest, and us 3 are the 3 ugly stooges." And then her little sidekick doubles down and is like, "Yeah, so beautiful, and we're just ugly compared to her." And I'm standing there thinking, "Oh, so none of you like me." And they continued that entire vacation to call me a slut, belittle me for wearing a bikini, a swimsuit my mom bought me, thank you and good night. And my mom had to call my doctor, had to call my psychiatrist, and get my antidepressants sent to a pharmacy on that little island we were on, because I was so depressed and crying in her room every freaking night of how these girls were making me feel zero, like nothing. They were making me feel such like scum. And within the first week of junior year, I swapped friend groups because I couldn't take it. And I quickly learned it is very hard to have platonic guy friends because the majority of men are objectifying you. They want to sleep with you. They want to see what you can do for them. And that's a theme that's a cycle I broke long ago, but I'm still met time to time with, because the universe will always throw in a little test to see if you continue to put yourself on a pedestal. And a majority of the guys I was friends with in high school didn't try and sleep with me then, but boy, the second we got in college, they tried. And if I turned down their advances, I was called a slut, I was belittled, I was told, "I thought you were easy." What? Door? Blink, blink? Hello? And I remember I at one time had a guy friend who would constantly make advances on me, and I'd turn him down, remind him we're friends, really iterate how I had such strong feelings with Koa, I didn't want to sleep around with anybody else. I didn't want to even engage with anyone else, regardless of what Koa and I's status was. And this guy proceeds to tell me, "Well, you're Koa's sloppy seconds. You're just his backup plan. He's never going to like you. He's just waiting around for the best thing to come, and you're the next." And mind you, I never told this guy friend really any freaking details about Koa and I's relationship or anything. I would mainly just speak about how my heart was in it for him and no one else, and that meant I wasn't going to sleep around with anyone. So he's not only belittling someone I view very freaking important, and the second you speak Koa's name, it better be only good things, or you're going to be told to walk the plank so freaking fast in my life, or I'm going to guillotine you, block. He then is dogging me for being celibate, dogging me for not giving my body away just to anyone and anything. And he further tried to punish me by not putting in a good word for me at his old job and his new job, because I applied to both, and I was begging him at the time, not begging, but I asked him, "Will you put in a good word for me? I could really use the money right now." And he did quite the opposite. I was told, "Oh, we'd like to meet with you," and then I'd get an email saying, "Oh, never mind." And I knew why the "oh, never mind" was. It was because he spoke ill of me, and then I confronted him about it, and he was not shy to tell me why I was unequipped, I was inadequate to be a bartender or a high sales retail associate. All because I wouldn't sleep with him. So, can you guess what I told him to do? Walk the plank, and I blocked him. Not saying females can't have platonic relationships with men. You can. I have a platonic relationship with a male, but it takes a gentleman, a man who respects you and your boundaries and your autonomy, to be a good friend. If they are objectifying you by any means, walk the plank. And I have had so many men just out there objectifying me. Most recently, I had a guy ask me whether or not I did OnlyFans because of the car I drove. And when I said no, he continued to double down and say, "Oh, really? You don't? You don't do porn?" Not shitting girls that do porn. Get your bag. I'm just not one of them. Because that's not something I feel comfortable doing in front of a camera and profiting from. Not saying those that do are any lesser than me. I'm cheering them on. Get your bag. You got confidence in a field I don't got confidence or credentials for. I salute my girlies. But to highlight the man, oh my God, screw you for objectifying me. And now every situation we're in, I'm going to remember this man is objectifying me in this here moment. I'm going to say and do anything to try and see me take my clothes off. Therefore, you're not my friend, nor will you ever be. I will be civil with you. I will be respectful. But, I shut him down and gave him a mouthful on how never to put me in that box. Never to assume I'm selling my body for the car I drive, and the car I drive is the same car I've driven since high school. Okay? That's just outing you're objectifying me. So that's one thing we're not going to do is objectify me. Thank you and good night. And, that still riles me to this day. And once more, I love my girlies on OnlyFans. I support my porn star girlies. Get that bag. You got confidence, like I've said, in a field I don't got. I don't have that. Okay? I wish. I wish. But at the end of the day, that's not in my soul, Johnny, I feel, or my soul contract. That's not a way I feel I can make good money. I just can't consciously accept any man's dollar for my body. I can't. So, if an individual is objectifying you or being demeaning, belittling you, bullying you, calling you stupid or annoying, or saying don't do this, don't say this, or in competition with you, there we go. If an individual is in competition with you, trying to one-up you, they're not your friend. Walk the plank. Walk the plank. Another great example of competition is if you say one thing like, "Oh, well, the second someone disrespects me, they're out of my life." And whomever you're with counters that with, "Oh, I'm not like that." And then they do their little spiel. They're not your friend. They're in competition with you in their own little loser brains. So tell them to walk the plank. Distance. Guillotine. Not your battle. I'm only in competition with myself, babes. I only want to better myself. I only view myself as competition. And I may be the villain in your story, but you're a loser of mine. Thank you and good night. Another way I've had individuals out that they don't have their best interest in me is watch how people act and behave under the influence. Back when I drank, oh my God, I had so many people out themselves to me. I had a girl butt dial me while she was at a party. I thought this girl was my best friend. She told my mom the week of this incident happening that she would marry me if she didn't have a boyfriend. And then I get a butt dial from her while she's at a party, and she's just trash talking me, telling the boys how insecure I am, how I'm her little puppet. She's taking me under her wing because I'm younger than her by a freaking year. And then I hear the guys begging her to invite me to this party to quote unquote see how drunk they can get me and what I'll do for them. And they went into detail about that plan, babes. That was a verbatim short story of that whole phone call. And I listened for a good hour, and I confronted her about it, and she ghosted me. She blocked me until I ran into her at a party 2 years later, and I got to flex. I'm a model, and I'm doing this now. And then all of a sudden, she's following me again. Right. Love that. You just want to see what I can do for you, because you're a loser. You're such a freaking loser. I also had a girl out to me under the influence. She plays dumber to have people have really low expectations of her, and furthermore, get them to do her bidding. Guillotine. Watch the plane. Distance. What? That's whack. That's whack. I had another friend at the time out under the influence that she only befriends people she felt she could manipulate, and she knew what they wanted from her, and so she would use that to her advantage. Walk the plank. What? That really had me distance myself from her. And what really hammered the nail in the coffin is when I found out she was telling everybody my business and speaking down not only on me but Koa, to the point where I had an individual tell me under the influence, while they were belligerent, all the things she said about me, how delusional I was, how if I ever brought up Koa's name or I spoke of him, to just shut it down and know that I was making up scenarios and things. And then I have this individual all of a sudden knowing not my business, but someone else's lies, and they're now questioning me about Koa and if it's really true, and telling me what she told them and that I should just watch out. And I'm thinking, okay, well, thanks for telling me that they're not a true friend, but also now I know you're not a true friend. Because why did you wait 3 months to tell me this? And why did it take you getting so drunk to tell me this? And she forgot she told me. She so forgot she told me until I reminded her she told me sober. And then she was like, oh, I told you that? Yeah, you did. So whack, so whack. Needless to say, all these people have walked the plank. And or I've guillotined them. And by guillotine, I mean block, as I've said. Walking the plank, sometimes you have to take a page out of the book of diplomacy and just keep it civil with people. Build distance. Not tell them much about what's going on in your life, but be kind, be respectful, and send them good beatitudes, because that's the only way we're going to heal this world, is not wishing negatively on those who hurt us. And let their karma be the loss of you, the loss of your love. That is, sometimes a person's karma is losing you and feeling the loss of your love for all of eternity. And that's the freaking truth. That's the truth. You don't need to see how someone's life or what their karma is for hurting you, because people will destroy their own lives. They will self-sabotage. They will absolutely obliterate their life without you raising a pinky. So let them. How you get your revenge is by being successful and continually choosing yourself, loving yourself, bettering yourself, and expanding as an individual. Another way I had an individual out her motives to me, I thought this girl was a very close friend of mine, was the second Koa and I had a rift for a second. We didn't talk for 9 months. She began to make sexual advances on me, and I would turn them down. And then one dinner, we went out. I noticed I was drinking my cocktail and she wasn't touching hers. And she took the opportunity when I got halfway through my cocktail to say, you know, everywhere I go with you, people say that I should be a model just like you. And I know you just got scouted and accepted by this management company. And I was thinking, well, what if I got into acting like you? And could you, get me in? Could you, put in a good word for me? And I'm sitting there thinking, when have you ever expressed that you wanted to be a model or to act? And if you wanted to, you would have been doing it. No, you just want quick fame. You just want to see if you can get famous off of me or famous through me. And I quickly distanced and guillotined her, blocked her. Because, wow, you were just waiting around to see if you could sleep with me or if I would bring you to the top with me. But babes, I'm dropping you off right here and saying adios. People will reveal themselves to you under the influence. Drunk words and actions are sober thoughts. Let people out themselves, and people will out themselves, sober or not. So I've had people tell me, sober as a bird, since birds don't drink, sober as can be, that They genuinely believe they can manipulate people or they can do X, Y, and Z and get away with it. And it's whack. It is so freaking whack to me. Especially pay attention to people that gossip and how they speak of their friends and other people, because that's how they speak of you. And that's a lesson I really had to learn recently, because I thought, in confiding and speaking about my hardships to some people, that I was truly having a shoulder to confide in. But then looking back, I'm thinking, oh, I just outed my playbook. And speaking negatively about someone that's hurt me, not even negatively, just telling the facts, I'm now revealing how I'm going to speak of this individual the second they disrespect me, and they'll know it. They'll know the second they disrespect me that my tone's going to change with them the way it's changed with this person. So keep diplomacy. Don't give away your playing cards. Don't speak ill. Don't even tell the truth. Even if it's the truth of how someone disrespected you, let it go, unless it could genuinely save someone's life because this individual will harm them. Save your breath and let the person find out on their own. You don't need to warn anybody. You're not going to be successful in warning anybody. People have to learn lessons on their own. We're all little babies just experiencing life for the first time, so we have to experience everything on our own to understand the lesson and let it integrate. And I'm just hoping and sharing my stories I can save people a lot of pain, and I can help better give you a guide map into deciphering people and their true intentions. And pay attention to how people engage with you on social media. If someone's just liking your Instagram stories and DMing you, and they're not liking your actual posts, or when you post about your successes, or if you do share a hardship in hopes of finding more community, then they don't like you. They just want to see if you'll take them to the top and what you can do for them. Okay? And especially if people try and take your hardships and make it about them, walk the plank. I've had people tell me that when I was going through HE double hockey stick, it was harder for them as the observer than it was for me as the individual enduring that said hardship. What? Her? Walk the plank. Oh my gosh. I'll never forget that. And then I get the long novel of, you're the problem, you're a horrible person. And I just block. If you're texting me novels of how I'm a horrible person for not saying, yeah, you know, that was harder on you, even though I was actually being abused in X, Y, and Z manners by this individual, block. What? If someone doesn't even acknowledge a story you're sharing or a hardship, they just change the conversation to be about them, they're not your friend. They don't care about you. They just want you to keep lighting the fire underneath them and gassing them up. Walk the plank. And if they even can't respond to a simple conversation, like you saying, oh, do you think we should get mango? Or I prefer mango because of blah, blah, blah. What about you? And they just left field, oh, I want to do this. I really just think about blah, 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 blah. And it has nothing to do with mangoes. Walk the plank. They don't care about you or what you have to say. They just care what you can do for them. And since what you're saying doesn't benefit them, they're not going to respond. So walk the plank. And also, another thing, if your friend tells you they can't be there for you during your hardest of hardships because it's too much and you're too much, or they start picking at you and being like, well, why now? Like, what's brought all this up? They have zero empathy for you. They don't care about you. You're scum to them. They just want to manipulate you. So let them walk the plank. A true friend would be your ride or die and say, how can I help you? How can I be there for you? What can I do? Maybe they set a boundary and say, I can't today, but hey, I can show up tomorrow. If they truly respect you, they will find a way to be there for you. If they don't respect you, they're gonna abandon you and just trying to emotionally manipulate you by guilt tripping you through their traumas or their hardships. And misery loves company. I'm not misery's freaking company. You know who also loves company? Success. I'm gonna be success's companion. I'm not nobody's misery, okay? I'm not entertaining misery. Yes, this world evil. Yes, it's so hard. But that's a perspective that keeps you in a lack mindset. I'm gonna choose the abundant one. There's hope to heal. There's hope for change. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. And that's what shapes my reality to be more successful than those that view it as evil and out to get them. And it's just so hard. It's so hard. Let's not play the who has it harder game. It's not, no one's gonna win. No one's gonna win. Okay? Not cute either. It just screams you're insecure, you need validation from others, you lack confidence, and you're sharing your trauma willy-nilly with people pleasers. People that are gonna publish it to the world or talk smack behind your back and belittle your situation because, oh my goodness, I've had that happen to me. I've heard my business from people I haven't told to, and this is where I'm going to give you my advice. Lie. If you in your heart and soul of souls really are questioning if an individual has your best intentions, change your story a little. Change the location you went to or what you were wearing. So if it gets outed to someone and you're having Tweedledee tell you what you told Tweedledum, you know Tweedledum outed you. But if you have someone telling you your trauma verbatim, then you know the call is coming from inside the house. You know you got a mole in your inner circle. So kick that mole out. You don't need a mole in your life. The only way you have a true friend that's going to expand you is when that individual has such confidence in who they are, they have immense self-love, they themselves have boundaries, and they have a game plan. They have goals, and they actively work every day to reach their goals. Because guess what? Manifesting doesn't mean making a wish on a star and that wish just falling into your lap. No, you make a wish, and then you create a vision, and you create a game plan, and every day you act on that game plan. You show up as that individual you want to be, and eventually your wish will come true. The universe will answer, because consistency matters. Discipline over motivation. Anyone can be motivated. Not everyone can be disciplined. And those that are disciplined get rewarded. And the universe rewards selfish people because selfish people put all their worth in themselves. They don't need validation from others. They don't need affection from others. They don't need others' opinions because they know their truth. They know what they want, and they actively and every day show up and work towards it, and the universe rewards them for that. And that's just the truth. I think my greatest advice for all this is just don't be friends with people pleasers or miserable people. They will cost you the most in life. Anger is such an expensive emotion. So when you're constantly dwelling in it and misery, you're robbing yourself of so much success. Yes, we have soul contracts with everyone who enters our life, but those soul contracts don't mean forever, for eternity. What a soulmate really means is just someone that you have a clock with. You have a lesson to learn. And that lesson will always be how to love yourself more, how to put yourself back on that pedestal, and how to set more boundaries that protect who you are and your values. So not everyone is permanent. That doesn't mean everyone's disposable, but not everyone is meant to stay in your life. Another great analogy, you're the main character. So every season, some characters stay, some characters go, some characters die off, some characters make a return later on, seasons later. But all these characters do is teach the main character how to love themselves more, how to choose themselves more, what they're passionate about, what boundaries they need to set, and how to put themselves back on that pedestal. Simple as that. Really simple as that. I think if we want to end it with psychology, there's something called the Dunbar number. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm so burpy. It's just confirmation burps, I guess. Yep, thank you, universe. There's something called the Dunbar number in psychology, which is this theory that you only have 2 to 5 intimate relationships in your life. That meaning 2 to 5 individuals that see you soul for soul, respect you, and expand and grow with you. It is mutualistic. And those are your true friends, your family, your soul tribe, your partner. Those individuals are lifelong. And then outside of that 2 to 5, you roughly make, I believe it's 15 to 50 good friends. And these are people that teach you a really important lesson about yourself, but they're not constants, okay? It's a coworker, a teacher, a professor, a boss, maybe your childhood best friend, and your college roommate, like people that you bond with for an X period amount of time, and then eventually your paths get separated, and maybe you rekindle time to time, but it's not frequent. It's not the 2 to 5. And then outside of the good friends number, 50 to 150 people will enter your life and exit like that. They're just meant to teach you a lesson about yourself. And all these people teach you is how to love yourself more at the end of the day and choose yourself. So don't feel like you gotta keep everyone around. The second someone disrespects you, the second someone outs that they don't have your best interests, walk the plank. Not everyone is supposed to stay. And statistically, out of that 2 to 5, some argue only 2 to 3 people will be your sole lifelong ride or dies. So, in a culture where social media kind of warps the Dunbar number because we view that we can follow and see everyone for all of eternity, that's not healthy. We were born or created to be very much individuals that engage and depart. People in the Victorian era weren't following whomever they met on their royal tour in Turkey and keeping up with them. They wrote about them in a journal and went back home and just told their close friends and families, hey, I met so-and-so and they changed my life in this way. And that's how we were created. And to those that argue, well, you need a community, you need a big support system in your life. Okay, you're right. Yes, community is important. To those that are going to type in, everyone wants to be in a village, but no one wants to be the villager. I don't want to be a villager to horrible people. No, I don't want to be the good apple in a pool of bad apples. I'm a diamond. I'm not here to please pebbles, okay? And I'd argue the only way to expand as an individual is to be a part of so many different groups. Don't recluse yourself to one box. You will never gain empathy for others. You will never learn more about yourself. The only way to expand as an individual is to build interpersonal relationships and different places with different people at all times, and just treat everyone as a lesson and how to love yourself more and how to love others more. That's the only way to expand your empathy, your understanding for the world. There are so many cultures in this world. There are so many religions. There are so many passions, arts, industries, whatever. To just recluse yourself and confine yourself to one little box. And when you confine yourself to one little box, you rob yourself of so much. And yes, my psychology majors might be coming at me at, well, you know, in the first 7 seconds, you decide whether someone's good or bad and whether or not you like them and what box you put them in. Okay. And you can argue that, well, you're putting people in boxes right now. Okay. But I'm not putting everyone in the same box. Once you out to me, you're a people pleaser. Yeah, I'm going to put you in the people pleasing box, but that doesn't mean I'm going to tape that box shut and put it on a shelf forever. It means I'm just going to choose to disengage with those individuals. I'll be civil. I'll be kind. I'll wish them benedictions. I don't think I'm using that word right. I'll wish them well and only good. But that doesn't mean everyone in every scenario you meet, you need to befriend them. And those that try and befriend you within a very short amount of time, and by a short amount of time I mean within less than a year, they don't really have your best interest at heart. Someone saying, I'm so obsessed with you, I love you, I just want to be you, you're so amazing. They just want to rob your identity. They want to take your face and put it on theirs. They want to take your body and be in it. But be careful what you pray for, because when you pray to be someone else, you also pray for their battles. And I would never wish my battles and my hardships on my worst freaking enemy. Because I have had to walk through HE double hockey stick and back multiple times. I've had to meet the devil's henchmen multiple times and send them back running. And it's been through brutal freaking scenarios that have made me who I am today. And I'm proud to be who I am today and where I've got there, because with what I've gone through, I should be, to most people, a very bitter, angry person at the world. And I could be kicking and screaming and asking, why did this happen to me? But I refuse to. I refuse to be the freaking victim of my story. Because I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. And I can't change what happened to me, but I can change how I react. And how I'm reacting is I'm just going to choose to love myself. View that as, wow, I survived. That just taught me how much more strength I have. That just taught me my endurance. That just showed me my capacity to hope, to love, to take the worst thing and view it as magic and alchemize it. And the more you choose to think like that, the more successful you'll be. Because the more you don't abandon yourself, you choose love and you choose to better yourself. The only way you sin in this life, in Greco-Roman terms, is when you abandon yourself, you fall short of yourself, and then you fall short of society. And that's robbing society of being a good person, of showing up every day and trying to better the world. And Jesus said, to know me is to take up your own cross. So to know the divine is to know who you are, and to make peace with the past, peace with where you fell short, peace with where others fell short and disrespected you, and still choose love. Still to choose to love others and love this world. Because I don't hate any of the people I've talked about in this video. I don't have the capacity to hate in me. I don't. I truly believe if you say you hate something, then you don't have the capability to love, because you're just living in anger. There's not hate in my heart. I strongly dislike or I disagree with things, or I don't respect certain thoughts, actions, and behaviors of people. But I will never sit here and say I hate anyone, because that is such a strong term. And to me, that just says I lack immense love. And I'm going to choose to have love and compassion. I can understand why people did the things they did to me, no matter how right or wrong. And I'm just going to choose to either pity them or to respect them and understand where they come from. If someone says they need distance, okay? Sometimes people can't figure out their messes with you around. And that's okay. If they're meant to be in your life, then they'll come back and they'll apologize and explain themselves. And that's how you grow. That's healthy. That's normal. I hate if he was ready, he would figure it out with you. No, Becky, we're so young. We are so young. Or it doesn't matter what stage of life we're at. If someone says, hey, I need distance, I need to go figure myself out, you give them distance and you let them do that. Sometimes you can't save people. And you can't be always the shoulder they lean on. They have to learn how to lean on themselves before they can learn to lean on you. Or else you're codependent. And that's not healthy. So if someone's a people pleaser, if someone's codependent, if someone's belittling you, if they're trying to personality swap, if they're in competition with you, if they're objectifying you, if they're downright outing that they don't like you, or they view everyone as someone they can manipulate and control, or they play dumb, they aren't good individuals. They're not people you should keep around and make excuses for and hope to change. You're their lesson of, oh, I'm not going to put up with you. And that will give them food for thought. And whether or not they're going to act and change their behaviors, it's not for you to stick around and find out. It's their karma. And what you need to do is just choose to better yourself and choose love. Isn't that right, Gucci? And that's my video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I brought light to how to tell if someone doesn't like you, or to tell if someone isn't your friend, because again, people will befriend you just to manipulate you and or steal your identity. And those people aren't friends. No. Gucci's gonna help me close this video out. We're now gonna go watch The Real Housewives of Dubai. Andy Cohen, please bring that back. Please. Or maybe rewatch some Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I just need to go decompress. And I'm gonna get an Olipop. I'm gonna get an Olipop root beer. That sounds good. And some caviar. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that. And I will see you guys next week in my next video. Anyways, I love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. And as I always say, je t'aime, bisous bisous, au revoir, and à bientôt. And Gucci says bye. Can you give me snuggles off camera? Gucci's Princess Diana reincarnated. She hates cameras, but she's got that sixth sense for them. Anyways, that's the end of my video. Love you guys.